Hey guys, today I have an awesome video to share with you today. Today I am joined with PLV in Vancouver, and today we're going to be kind of just having like a back and forth conversation on how we got into music and kind of how we're going about just kind of growing ourselves as music artists. So we each kind of prepared 5 questions. So we'll kind of go through those back and forth, and hopefully you can learn a thing or two if you yourself are trying to kind of grow yourself as a music artist. PLV, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Excellent. Should we just dive right in?
Yeah, let me start it.
All right. So I figured we'll just kind of go back and forth with questions. Would you want to start? And you can start us off with the first question.
Yeah, okay. I'll start. I wanted to know, what is your strategy to go full-time on YouTube? I know it's like your main thing on YouTube, on your banner, so I wanted to know what you were thinking for that.
Yeah, so actually, originally, that was my idea to go full time. It's kind of like morphed between then and now, but to answer that, I would say definitely just trying to be consistent with everything that I post. I think that's really the thing with
Yeah,
any social media platform, is just trying to be consistent with things, which is again hard to do.
yeah,
But with YouTube, for me, I find that once a week is kind of the doable time frame for me to work with. But other than that, it's sort of like reaching out to other artists such as yourself, just like other people that are in that space, and whether that's collaborating through video or music, you kind of can reach an audience that maybe you haven't reached before. You have an audience, I have an audience, other people on YouTube have their own
yeah,
audience. So
totally.
by collaborating, you can kind of tap into that, and it's a really great way to not only meet other people, but everyone benefits by having their channel grown as a result of it.
Yeah, no, very true, very true.
All right. So my first question for you. So by the way, for those of you watching, we each have like different questions for each other to make this kind of interesting. So the first one that I have for you is, what inspired you to pursue music kind of more seriously?
Yeah, so for the quick story, this is something I always wanted to do. I knew deep down this is always something that was there, but I was like kind of scared to do it, like scared of what would people think about it, what would people say about it. But I was also hiding under this little excuse that as long as I didn't have the job I wanted, I was not going to start it. And then I got the job that I wanted, so I was like, well, let's do it. So yeah, I don't know, since very young, I liked, like I was, I think, in a choir. I don't know if it's the right English word.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
sing with other people. I did some music theory classes. Almost got into piano and also I took some guitar lessons as well. So music was always there, and I cannot live without music. So I knew this was like probably something that I would definitely love, but I was just scared to be doing it. And now that I started, I just love it, and I can tell that I found my passion. So I'm really happy I started, and that's what, like, as soon as I started, I was like, yep, that's what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it like full in. So yeah.
Yeah. Was there like a specific moment that kind of like
Yeah, it was
put you?
like it was September. I got that job, so then I had all this time on my hands because as long as I didn't have the job I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
I was working a lot on the side to get this job, like to do like personal projects and stuff like this to get to that job. But once I did get that job, I have all this free time, like on the weekends and evenings and all, and I was like, well, I should start. And for like since September, so I found like this idea. I was like, maybe I should show my whole journey from the beginning, like from the start, because I haven't seen any artists do this. Like when I find an artist, I'd like to see what they've done to be so good at music, but I never see it. So I was like, it would be interesting to show and like document my whole journey from the start. but it took me like 4 months to get to the idea and get like as well good with the idea of putting yourself out there on the internet and in the world. So definitely a little bit of months, like 4, I would say. But yeah, it was end of the last year, that moment.
Yeah, no, you make a good point, because you see all these big names, but you have no idea
Yeah.
how they got there.
Yeah, it's
And
often
then-
like on YouTube I find artists and they're so good, so I go to their YouTube like channel, to their videos, and I search by the oldest uploaded, so like their first ones. And their first one, they're already super good, like they're a genius. And I'm like,
Right.
how did you get there? So I'd like to see what they've done so that I could do it as well, because obviously it works. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, I
Yeah.
will flip it back to you for
Yeah.
the next one.
Yeah, so you said in the previous questions that you are uploading 1 video per week. How do you manage to do this with having a full-time job? Because I have a full-time job and I cannot do 1 video a week. So how do you manage to do that?
So I find that it's a little bit easier. So I started YouTube really like 4 years ago, just like randomly uploading piano content, like that I was learning
Yeah.
the piano, and then it morphed into physical therapy content, and now I'm back to music content.
Right.
But I find that it's easier to upload once a week, because every week I'm kind of learning something new, and so really I'm just sharing what I'm learning with
Yeah.
on YouTube. So it's not really like, I don't do, to be honest, a lot of planning when it comes to content, because it's so
Okay.
spur of the moment, just depending on what I've happened to learn that week or what just really resonated with me. Like recently I've been doing a lot of lyric writing, so a lot of what I've been learning has been related to that. So it's just kind of week by week, like what am I learning, and then how can I share that? The other thing is I just try to I don't try to make super like overdone videos. Like obviously, I have a decent camera for like good visuals, but I try to take videos in like 1 to 3 takes, and sometimes they're
That's
not
good.
some right, yeah, sometimes they're not the best. Like you'll see me stutter, or there might be a weird
Oh, yeah,
silence
yeah.
or whatnot. But I just keep it in there because I don't know, to me it just seems a little bit
Authentic.
more, yeah, it seems more authentic. When I see other people do that, I just tend to, I tend to stick around longer than if it's like super well produced with 3 different angles and
Okay.
and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I just kind of learn week by week, and then I jot down little nuggets that I learn, and then I share those nuggets on YouTube. Or if
Yeah,
I have
so
a new
you-
song, then I'll put it on that.
Yeah, so you don't write any of your videos before shooting it.
So I have a bullet point list. So I don't have
Okay.
I never have a script, because I've done that in the past and it just sounds way too robotic. I have
Yeah.
I have a rough idea list
Okay. Yeah.
of concepts. So it might be 5 to 7 bullet points that I want to hit in a given
Okay.
video. And so I'll actually have that on my iPad out of view of the camera right in front of me. So I'll occasionally glance down just to see what that is.
Oh, okay.
But that's about it. It's just like they're basically like cue cards to make sure that I,
That's good.
I'm
That,
saying-
that saves time as well.
yeah, no, it definitely
able to do
does.
that, yeah.
And it saves in the editing part of it too, because the less takes that I have, the less that I have to glue together. And that's the other piece of it, is just having the right systems for editing. And that took me a while to get, but now I have a template on my video editor. So literally the only thing
Oh, yeah, that's good.
yeah, the only thing that I change is just the video that goes onto it, and all the other kind of fancy stuff is already just pre-done on there. Hey,
Yeah.
are you ready for your next
Oh,
one?
yeah, it's my turn. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So the next thing I have for you is what's the biggest obstacle that slows down your music progress, and
Right.
what are you doing to try to overcome that?
Yeah, so I hope I won't get fired for that, but I have to say it's work, you know? Because honestly, like music-wise, there's nothing really that stops me or anything. I'm like 200% motivated and also all good, but it's really just the time, you know. I'm pretty good at organizing myself and having calendars and stuff, but 40 hours down is quite a lot. So it's, really what it is just work. Like I know sometimes, like from this week, for example, I did a lot of overtime, and that definitely doesn't help. So I was supposed to like finish my song this week, and I was supposed to work like, you know, 3 hours every night on it after work, but I ended up having only an hour, and an hour is just only, you know, when you start getting in the zone and when you start getting things done. So in the end, I didn't really get anything done. So it's more a matter of finding the time. So yeah, the only obstacle really is, you know, having work every day. But
Yeah,
that's it.
that has definitely been challenging for me too.
Yeah,
is doing
it is
that.
very challenging to manage everything, like all this content creation, YouTube, Instagram, making music, learning music as well, because we're both learning as we publish stuff. So it's definitely challenging. Like I love my job, it's super fun, but it's just very hard to fit all this in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
So you said that you're typically able to spend like 3 hours after work for the most part?
Yeah, usually that's what I try to do. Like I finish at 6, and from 6 to like 6:30, I just get like a little tutorial in, take some notes. Then I take an hour to have a like dinner break, and then like 8:30, I just work 2-3 hours until it's bedtime. So yeah, making music, editing videos, creating content for Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's usually my routine.
That's awesome. Well, your bedtime is definitely later than mine.
It's started to get later since I started this whole adventure. It used to be like 10 as well, maximum. Because I'm a morning person. I don't like staying late. I really love the morning. So I also do stuff in the morning before work. So it helps.
What do you do then?
Usually I do, when I wake up, the first thing I do is ear training. On Tone Gym, I do that like 10 minutes. They have like 3 exercises. And then either it's time to post on Instagram because I'm in Vancouver, the time zone makes that the whole world is active when I wake up. So I need to post at that time. So usually I'm trying to be active and like reply to messages, comments and stuff like this. And if it's not a post day, I just do piano or whatever else I need to do, like editing, Instagram posts, music. Yeah.
Wow, you say very
Very
productive.
organized. Yeah.
Very productive. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the only way I can manage everything, to be honest. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Got to do with what you have.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. I'll let you go to the next one here.
Yeah. So what was my next one? I wanted to know, how did you learn guitar? Because I know you play guitar very well, and I've tried to pick it up sometimes, but never really understood how to learn guitar. So how did you do it? And how do you, like, what do you recommend?
Yeah, so that was the first thing that I ever learned was guitar. I was 15 years old when I think I was 15 when I started that. I took formal lessons from someone. So I took lessons for someone who specialized in like blues guitar, but I hated blues, but I still did it anyway. But I learned a lot because it's like the fundamentals. But then beyond that, I was really into metal. So I learned from someone who was into shred metal. And so I learned guitar from this guy. But yeah, after that, I kind of had a lull where I didn't really try to get better. Probably like legitimately 10 years where I didn't really try to get better at all. But most recently, I've been trying to pick it back up again. And while I'm not like playing metal, I'm getting better in other ways. But I would say that the guitar is interesting in that it has a steeper learning curve initially than say piano, because piano you just have to hit a key and then
that's what I feel as well.
Yeah, the right sound comes out when you hit a key. I mean, you might hit the wrong key, but either way, if you can press a key, the right sound will come out. Guitar, you have to be able to fret it correctly, you have to be able to pick it correctly, otherwise the note will be muted, or
doesn't sound good.
or if you press it too hard, it'll be flat or sharp rather. But the thing is about guitar is that once you kind of get over that learning curve, it actually becomes easier to get better at it. So it's just it's a big hump in the beginning, but then it's actually pretty easy with some practice to get what I would say really good at it. Really good,
Yeah.
meaning like you'd be not embarrassed to play in front of people. But yeah, to get started though, for anyone, I'll be honest, I'll say it's probably in someone's best interest to at least get one live lesson just so you can know the technique of how to do something, or the picking technique and whatnot. But aside from that, recently I've been diving into Paul David's guitar. He's kind of more geared towards intermediate players, but there's another guy on YouTube, Justin Guitar, who kind of has...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's been doing it a long time, like probably 10 years on YouTube. And I haven't watched a ton of his stuff, but I know he also has content that's geared for beginners and intermediate. And I believe he covers a lot of the beginning stuff that people would have difficulty with, like fretting and how to hold the pick, which a lot of people get wrong anyway. And those things seem kind of trivial, but any sort of little technique flaw that you have will just kind of get worse the more you go through it.
Yeah.
So the more you can kind of correct those in the beginning, the easier it is.
Good basics.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the fundamentals, and you kind of just go from there. But those are kind of a couple good resources to start with.
Doesn't he have like a website? Because I think when I tried also to like pick up guitar, I think I saw he has like a website with like a whole course like from A to Z with like 10 beginners videos, then intermediate. Is it him? I think that might be him.
He does have a website, and I think he does have a course or two. I have no idea. I don't know anything about them. I assume they're probably pretty good though. But I mean, I always try to, what's the free way that I can get started? And then if I feel like I need more, then that's kind of when I will go into paid options.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I would do. And then he also has playlists and stuff, so it almost feels like you're getting a course.
Nice, that's good to know.
Cool. Okay. So this kind of ties into the one that I asked you before, but kind of diving in, how do you stay creative even after working a full day at your job?
Yeah, I think I don't even, like, it's not that complicated for me because that's like, I'm so like looking forward to finally be able to do my, like, the music and all this thing out after work that it's like, I just can't wait. So I don't really have any trouble. Like, I'm so excited and enthusiastic about it that I'm like, 6 p.m. cool, let's do music. And yeah, honestly, there's nothing, like, I don't have a magic recipe. I think as well, when it's like something that you really want to do, like it's like your real passion, you don't have to force yourself at all. It's just, yeah. And also my work, like I work as a visual effect artist, so it's very creative as well. So I think I'm just creative all day long. And I just like that. So yeah, it's kind of like on the same line. So yeah.
Do you feel like since your job is creative, do you feel like that kind of drains your creative resources, or do you feel like there's enough afterwards?
No, I think it helps it actually, to be honest, because at work I always have to be, creative on like overcoming the technical problems I run into, or like to make that image more beautiful. And also I think it just pushes my brain to always try and find like a better way to do it, like, to stay creative. So I think like there's a lot of things that I learned from my job, like from being a visual effects artist, that I actually implement in like the studio, like in the music side of it. So I think they just complement each other. Like I love both. So yeah.
That's great. I mean, that's probably the ideal mix. I know for me, I get tired after work, and it's sometimes a little tough to.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's definitely my big passion, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, I would love to sit on the couch right now, but
Yeah, because you're also like moving and like standing all day, no?
I am. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I'm
Yeah,
sitting on a chair all day long, so I think
uh,
as well
fair
that
enough.
that helps as well. I mean, that helps in staying motivated, but
Yeah, yeah,
physically it probably doesn't help me.
fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah.
All right, I'll flip it to you.
Yeah. So you said that at first you started your YouTube with a few pianos, then going to therapy, like PT?
Yeah,
What's
well,
um,
we physiotherapy or
yeah,
physical therapy,
physiotherapy,
whatever
and
country
then
you're
back to
from.
music. So why at first, when you started this YouTube channel, why did you start that YouTube channel at first? What pushed you to do that?
Uh, at first, it was. I'm trying to remember. It was honestly just a way for me. I didn't know it at the time, but it was just a way for me to kind of document progress with the piano course that I was learning. Because
Okay, yeah,
I was learning a course called Piano for All.
yeah,
And so, it's kind of hard to objectively figure out if you're getting better at something unless,
true,
especially like a musical instrument, unless you like record yourself because
yeah,
you're with it every day. So, I mean, it can feel like you're always stuck in this rut when really, if you listen to something that you did a month prior, it can be wildly different
no,
than,
definitely a
uh,
good thing, yeah, to record yourself, seeing the progress, yeah,
oh yeah, absolutely. And so that's kind of what I was doing. And then they just so happened to have an affiliate program. So I mean,
oh, okay,
I was in college. So I'm like, well, it wasn't my only reason for doing it, but I was like, well, if I could also get a little side money from affiliate
yeah, might
marketing,
as well,
yeah. And I didn't feel like I was being like sleazy or weird about it because it's not. Everything I was posting about was stuff that I was going through. I feel like affiliate marketing gets a really bad rep because there's a lot of
yeah,
people that have never used what they're selling.
yeah.
And so that's kind of where people get demonized for it. But, I was using it and getting better with it. So I was like, well, I might as well
Yeah, no,
promote
that's
it. And
fair. Especially if you
yeah,
liked it as well. Might as well
yeah,
promoting it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. So I started with that. And then I honestly don't think I posted another video for 3 years. And then it
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah, and then I think it was the PT related stuff because I tried to start some businesses with that, but just
Yeah.
didn't really want to see that through because I liked music better.
Yeah.
We are winding down here. We got a couple more each. All
Yeah.
right. So for you, I mean, you're super like consistent on Instagram, which I probably should be at, but I'm not. But what strategies are you using to promote your music and grow your audience?
Right. So, yeah, to be honest as well, I told you I had this idea since September, but the time to get with the idea of should I do it, should I not, I was also looking at how to start it as well. Like, what is the best way to, be successful, like to start it the best way. So like, for content marketing and stuff like this. So I looked it up a little bit and I decided to go with my face and not hide behind a logo because it's like people connect more with faces, human faces, rather than logos. So this is a way as well, like to be more personal with the person and to actually connect. One thing I really like doing as well is replying to every single comment and every single DM. Very important. I really like talking. Sometimes I start conversation for like 2-3 days with someone, and it's awesome. So I know building connections as well, like actual connections, really helps as well. And then strategy, like if we can call it this way, is like bringing value. So I'm trying to add value in my content on Instagram, like to teach what I learn as I learn it, so that everyone can also learn with me at the same time. So those are the most important, I say, on what I'm doing to grow on social medias. And of course, as you said, consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to aim for like the maximum that I know I can hold for a long period of time, which is like I started with 3 times a week on Instagram. Now I'm doing 4. And YouTube, the max I can do is 1 every 2 weeks, honestly. So for now, that's what I do. I wish I could do 1 a week, but I would definitely lose a lot of quality if I would do this. So for now, I'm trying to keep a good ratio between quantity and quality, as much as I can do with my skills level at the moment. But yeah, that's about it. Content, value, bringing value, helping people, building connections, and consistency, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. So for
Yeah.
you post a lot on Instagram, and it's like, and I've seen your posts, they're like really freaking good.
Oh, yeah,
Very well
thanks.
done. So for YouTube, since you're posting there at least less frequently than Instagram, how do you decide like what makes the cut for like a YouTube video for you?
Well, I have a list of videos, probably for a good 2 years already, and I just try and see as well. Like some ideas that I have, I can't do them now because either I don't have the skills or I don't have enough like audience to make that video interesting. So I how do you say, I reduce the options like this first, and then I also go with what I feel confident talking about, like what I feel like I learned really and I can either teach or talk about. And then also what I just want to, what I feel like matches the channel, because I'm trying to also bring it down to, like those documenting the journey from the start. So yeah, this. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I do shoot some videos and they never see the day because they're really bad or they didn't work out. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of trial and error like this. I know one day I shot like for a whole day, started editing it, and I was like, nope, not gonna do it. That's not gonna
I
work.
feel you.
So next idea video, and if this one works better, then I do it. So that's also as well why the 1 video every 2 weeks. It's because I have those trial and error still to figure out
Hmm.
what works for me, what I can do. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's definitely a learning curve for videos. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, are we
that's
on? I
true.
think we're on the
The last
last one,
one.
right?
So last one I have for you is, what is your biggest struggle at the moment and how do you overcome it on your whole journey adventure?
The that yeah, I didn't pre-plan anything for this. I was trying to figure out. It changes week by week, to be honest. Um,
Yeah, true.
I think a lot of it is just being willing to kind of put yourself out there, and that's always kind of
Like confidence?
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of it is kind of pertaining
Yeah.
to that, and it's always sort of been a struggle of mine, but I force myself to do it anyway.
That's great.
So YouTube has really helped me with that, just because one of the things I've always had trouble doing anyway was talking to a camera for whatever reason.
You did pretty good.
Well, thank you. But yeah, but that was a long. Yeah, I used to do a lot of Facebook lives. I don't really use Facebook anymore, but I used to do Facebook lives, and those used to be like crippling for me because they were like, I don't know, so just nerve wracking. My hands would be sweating and all of that. So,
Oh yeah.
so anyway, I think a lot of it is just kind of being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and maybe that's like cliche with what a lot of people say nowadays, but it's true. I mean, it takes
It
it
is.
takes a level of vulnerability to post something that is something that you've created, that
Yeah.
hasn't been like tested per se. Because like
Hmm.
that first song that you upload, you have an idea of whether or not you like it, but you have no
Yeah.
idea how other people respond,
Yeah.
or you might have people that have no idea that you're even into music and write music.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, where did this come from? Because like I
Yeah.
have friends that know me from work and even prior, like in school, that have no idea or had no idea
Same here.
that I was doing this. And so when they're seeing this, there's definitely, I haven't gotten any real negative backlash, but there's always sort of that fear in my head that that it could happen.
It's human.
Yeah.
It's human. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think,
But that's good that you're still doing it. Like you still chose to do it, even if you're afraid. Like it's out of your comfort zone, but you still do it, and that's what's important, I think.
yeah, no, I mean, it's the only way you can get better is to just sort of tackle it and go for
Get
it.
out there and do it.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, and how I'm trying.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but easily I mean, time management is definitely a big one too. But I would argue that the confidence thing is bigger, and the reason I say that is that there was a point where I actually didn't have a full-time job, and I was able to. Now, I wasn't doing music at the time. I was pursuing other business ventures, but I found that without focus and confidence, even if I had those extra 40 hours, I wouldn't use them wisely, and it would just sort of flounder. So I actually find that having the full-time job actually, in some respects, has been boosting my performance, because I only have a limited amount of time to work on it. So if I don't make the most out of it, then there's no other way to do it.
Screwed.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, no, it's like a good pressure, kind of.
It
like
is.
Definitely.
Yeah, it is. It is good pressure.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, last one for you. Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what habits do you practice outside the studio that help you inside the studio?
Right. I think the main thing that I think right now is, even outside of music or anything, I've always been quite interested and very good at like self-discipline, self-development, time management, all this, like organizing yourself to achieve your goals and reach your objectives. As I was saying before, when I wanted to get the job I wanted, I worked for it. So same, I was organizing myself. I was like having self-discipline that if I was not done with it, I couldn't go outside or, stuff like this. So all this self-discipline and all really helps me in the studio to stay focused, not starting like 30 songs and not finishing any, or because I know this is like quite often, so I don't really do that. I may start like a couple ideas and then I'm just gonna take one and take it to a full song, and that's it. I'm not starting anything until that song is done. So I'd say this has really been helpful. Like as well, for example, this morning I took like an hour to completely organize my project so that I can actually think well and do good changes and improvements. So just organizing in general, so that I can just go straight and not completely in different directions. Which reminds me, that book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, I think. I read it just before starting this journey, music journey. And I remember that drawing where it's like a round with like little arrows everywhere, and it's like when you start different things and you don't know where you're going, so you don't really make any progress. But if you focus on one or just a couple, then you have like a big arrow and you make progress and you advance. And that's pretty much what I'm doing either way outside of the studio, and what helps me in and staying on track with all my objectives.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Have you is discipline something you've had to like learn, or is that something you feel like you've kind of already had it?
Oh no.
No, okay.
Not at all.
Okay, all right.
Not at all. No. I think I started to have like to change my mentality to go into that disciplined self-development thing when I was like I think 2021, something like this. So yeah, definitely something I had to work on. I wasn't born with it at all. But yeah, no, it's just learning curve,
Yeah.
And yeah.
Absolutely. So where can people find more about you?
So I'm on YouTube as PLV Music, and on Instagram as Music by PLV.
Okay.
And yeah.
Do you have any upcoming?
Oh, Spotify as well.
Of course, that's one of the most important ones.
Same PLV Music, Spotify.
Do you have any upcoming projects or anything you want to share or anything like that?
Yeah, so I have a emotional feature bass track coming really soon, hopefully in the next 2-3 weeks. So I started with tropical house, but now I'm doing feature bass, and the goal is to, explore a different genre, to explore music and find my sound eventually. But because I'm just starting out, I'm exploring some genre, and right now the next one is emotional feature bass.
That's sick. Well, I'm stoked for that. I can't wait to listen to it. Yeah. And for those of you that don't already follow PLV, definitely get on it. She's an amazing artist, and I've definitely had a blast getting to know her and seeing all the content that she puts out. So thank you very much for kind of joining me and kind of having a back and forth on how we've been growing.
Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.